The first 100 years of Disney. That's our Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. Joining us from Disney Editions is senior editor Jennifer Eastwood. Hi, Jennifer.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure to meet you. When people my age were little, Walt Disney was the host as the black and white TV in the family room glowed every Sunday evening. And of course, there was the Mickey Mouse Club. And now the celebration of 100 years of Disney is underway. 1923 was the year when Walt Disney Company was formed. Originally, I think, the Disney Brothers Cartoon Studio. Jennifer, you've done some publications just out that help to tell the story. Tell us about it.
Well, when we were contemplating how to actually tell and celebrate 100 years of Disney, we went to our partners at the Walt Disney Archives. This team is incredible. They have their mission day in, day out to preserve and share the history of the company and Walt Disney personally. So we said, well, how do you want to tell this? What would be special to you? And that's when they told us about their exhibition that they were putting together. So Disney 100, the exhibition, is now open in Philadelphia, and then we'll be traveling after that. And the way that they structured it, and they said they were very passionate about this, was they did not want to tell a linear story. They did not want it to be decade by decade and go in chronological order and have it be an encyclopedia. They wanted it to be all of these story moments that resonated with Walt. What was important to him at a personal and professional level. And in doing that, they were able to craft these rooms, which turned into chapters of our big coffee table book, The Story of Disney, 100 Years of Wonder. And I just love it because it gives you so much fluid storytelling in there, because you can take a very specific kind of topic, like the sound and music, and then you can go from 1920s up to modern day, talking about these different examples and story points that resonate within this overall concept of sound and music of Disney. And it's just lovely to see those connections across the decades.
And there are more books in this collection too, including a great fun coloring book, which I don't want to color on. It's too nice.
That's so true. So our Art of Coloring line is for adult coloring. So it has a lot of those smaller pieces where you can meditatively color it in. But it functions as just a wonderful book to flip through as well, right? Because it has all of this fun line art from, again, through the decades, vintage coloring books, vintage press pieces, so that you are going from, hey, here were final frames from this 1920s Alice comedy to here's Treasure Island artwork, that then you come up to modern day with, Pixar film artwork. It's just a lovely collection that I think will resonate with the geekiest of fans for sure.
There are a couple of other books here too. Tell us about them.
So the other two are both Walt Disney focused. And again, that was just really important to us because we wanted to ensure that at the heart of it, this is Walt's anniversary. He started this company in 1923, and we are still using his lessons learned as our backbone today to tell the greatest stories. So the one is the quote book, the official Walt Disney quote book. And the archives team was really passionate about saying, let's just make a collection that in every single quote, we can back it up with documentation to say, yes, he said that, it's on record. And here is that very hefty documentation to back it up. And really put together in thematic ways Walt's own words so that he can impart his own lessons to you. And one of my favorites is, no man alone can do very much of consequence without the help of others. And I think that is so perfect for Walt, because that was his mission throughout his time here. He just always knew that he was ambitious. He wanted to get big projects done. And he knew that to do that, you'd have to put together a team, and you'd have to make sure that it was the right people and the right mix to push this thing forward to accomplish it. So likewise, the other one is Walt Disney, an American Original, the commemorative edition. And this is a 1970s biography that was put together about Walt by a wonderful journalist who got full access from both the company at the time and the family. So every recording of Walt ever, every memo, every journal, all the artifacts that would say this is Walt, as well as you could possibly collect and say this is everything he left us, put together this narrative story of his life. And truly, there's no other biography that captures it as honestly and sincerely. So for me, one of my goals is to ensure that this book stays in print for all time, as long as I can be a part of that.
Just wonderful. There's another quote that I like too. And there are a lot of them actually, but you can't live on things made for children or for critics. I've never made films for either of them, is one thing that he said. How did you come to know so much about all things Disney? Tell me more about that.
I was just a kid who really loved Disney movies and then was fortunate enough to go on quite a few family trips to Walt Disney World growing up with my family. So by the time that I was, in a journalistic career path and I was deciding where to go, and Disney was an opportunity for me, it was just a dream come true on all levels, because this is something that just resonated with me so much personally, and I believed in so much, that to lend all my skills to that endeavor has just been a lifelong dream for me.
So what are your thoughts then about why Walt Disney was so successful as a person and is still as a company?
I think Walt personally never gave up, never saw an obstacle as the end. He always saw it as, okay, so then what resources do I need to get together? What team with what expertise do I need to pull together? What is the thing that I need to do in order to make that obstacle, to get past it? And then the next one, and then the next one. He never gave up. He was always forward looking throughout his whole life. And I think the company, at its best, always goes back to that backbone, that we are always about, let's, bring together the right team to tell the best stories, and always pushing the envelope from an ingenuity point of view. So really, I think that when we are at our best, when we look back at Walt's fundamental philosophies.
And he coined the name Imagineers for some of these people who were working for him.
That's right. And it's a beautiful word, because imagination and engineering, you can't have art without science and science without art. And it all feeds back into that same narrative, right? No one thing is going to do it alone. It's always got to be the special combo that makes the right recipe to make it work.
Well, these books are wonderful. Is there a place that people can go to get more information about them and maybe some of these other events going on?
Yeah, so they're available everywhere books are sold. There's also an audiobook version of Walt Disney An American Original, which has never been in audio before. So that is also a special aspect to this. And DisneyBooks.com will give you a little bit more information about everything else.
Terrific. DisneyBooks.com. Jennifer Eastwood, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you. Take care.